especially a great time to talk about hormones is when females go through their cycle, their hormones changes, and so that's why they use that as the reason of why they have a little attitude problem during that day, where it might just be they just want to be the boss that day. It may not be, but you know what? Some always say like, you know what, cool down, it's just my hormones talking, okay? That means your hormones have a major thing to play, especially if they just changed you from one day out of the week to a completely different person. Your hormones have a major, major role to play, all right? Now what's coming into play? I mean, most dudes, I can see every single guy in here, we have facial hair. At some point in time, we didn't have facial hair, but you know what? Our hormones, they pumped up, especially that testosterone, and they gave us facial hair. That's what's responsible for that, all right? But the other part of it is the nervous system, all right? The nervous system, there's a lot of subcategories to the nervous system, all right? There's your central nervous system, which is your brain and spinal cord, all right? And there's your peripheral nervous system, all right? Your peripheral nervous system takes every single action, right? From your peripheral nervous system, you have another subcategory. You have your somatic nervous system, and you have your autonomic nervous system. Our somatic nervous system is what controls all motor functions. Simply, I want to move my arm to here. That was my somatic nervous system working, all right? If you want to go pick up that weight, voluntarily, you know what to do. I know right here, my back grounded. I told myself I knew how to do that movement. If I hinge here, I knew that I'm going to move my hips. That's my motor pattern working. The next one is, well, we're not going to really talk about this one. We're going to dig deeper into the autonomic nervous system, and that has to do with all of our automatic functions. Breathing. Every single one of you guys are breathing right now, but you're not telling yourself to breathe. It's an involuntary action. Same thing with our hair growing. It's an involuntary action. I didn't just one day wake up and yell at myself in the mirror and say, beard, grow bigger, beard. I need you to grow bigger. It didn't happen that way. It just did it its own self. It was involuntary. I had nothing to do with it. It just did it. Now from the autonomic nervous system, you have two subcategories as well. You have your sympathetic nervous system. This is where we're going to get into it. And you have your parasympathetic nervous system. All right. Now, here's where it gets tricky, okay? When it comes down to stress, this is why a lot of people, they don't really get into it, because there's a lot of things that go on in your nervous system, as you can tell, to get down to where problems actually occur. So you have to dig really deep to find these things out, okay? But essentially, the big thing is stress, all right? Our body has no clue what kind of stress there is. And again, it's all a mindset. We convey what is stressful to us. There's no difference between somebody holding a gun to your head, asking for all your money, or the bank saying that you have a late bill and they're about to turn off your electricity. But which one is more of an imminent threat to our survival in our life? We can live in darkness for a month. Well done. We could also not live from a gun being shot through our head, all right? But you know what? Our brain will always respond to the exact same system. It'll go in our body, will go all the way through. Our nervous system will activate, our nervous system, our sympathetic nervous system will be activated, and it'll go all the way up to our nervous system, because our brain, which holds this, let it all the way down to here. Now what that does is that has a huge physiological impact on our body. What happens is, heart rate increases, blood pressure increases, our respiration changes, and our body uses norepinephrine, which is a hormone, again, because both these systems are together, to regulate its energy. Norepinephrine is simply adrenaline, all right? That's the term, but it's a hormone from adrenaline. It gets secreted through our adrenal gland, and our adrenal gland has two areas, one which is neural tissue, and one which is also part of the endocrine system. And our body will release that. We live in a stressed out area, and even when there's traffic, it's much easier to become late to things. And again, when you say that you're late, it's all mindset. You tell yourself you're late, and bam, You might feel yourself not breathing that fast. You're going to feel your respiration changing. Your heart rate may rise a little bit, and your blood pressure will rise as well. Especially if, let's say there was a larger crowd. I would guarantee you I'd probably be in more of a sympathetic nervous state. Why? I'm a little more stressed out. There's a lot of people in here, especially faces that I might not even know. My blood pressure would increase, my heart rate would increase. We've all probably felt it before. Every single one of you is probably giving a speech, may it be back in high school, college, whatever it may be. And you might go up there and you're like, oh, come on. Oh, I gotta give this speech. That's our stress going after us. Our heart rate has pumped up, our hand shakes a little bit. That's the adrenaline coming through our bodies, right? If we're always in that state, then what happens is our adrenal glands will fatigue and we won't be able to perform at a great level. And at one point in time, we're all gonna come crashing down. That's when bad things start to happen, anxiety starts to kick in, you might need to go to the doctor. The doctor's gonna be like, hey, here's some drugs for you to take. They're gonna make you feel better. You take those drugs, sooner or later you find out that it's just all a cycle of things. But it can all be related and traced back to one thing, our mindset. Simple as that. Like I say, if somebody's holding a gun to you, asking you for all your money, or the electricity people are asking for your money, you could hold off on that for like a day or two. Go ahead and pay it when you can. Breathe. Right when you see that bill, don't go. Breathe. Like, all right, it's a little bit steep, but I can get this. Right, I might not be able to get this today, but I will get it tomorrow. I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna evaluate it, and I'm gonna do it. That's the better way to do it. Now, this is called the fight or flight response. What's happening nowadays is another mechanism that usually doesn't happen. It's called freeze. When you see something, it's really big. Like if there's a spider right there, let's say there's a snake, all right? You're walking by, all right? There's two things you're gonna see, all right? Because a lot of people are afraid of snakes. You're either gonna be like, there's a snake, and then you're gonna run away, all right? Or you'd be like, there's a snake, here's a shovel, and you're gonna try to kill the snake. Or there's one other mechanism, and it's really weird, but now people are starting to take notice of it because there's so much stress. There's a snake. It doesn't see me. He's coming closer. He's coming closer. What should I do? What should I do? Like, no, he's gonna bite me. No, that's when people don't know how to handle it. If you're a freezer, you don't know how to handle stress. I'm sorry. But if you freeze, you gotta go ahead, you gotta rethink your thoughts. You gotta change your mentality up there. You can't freeze. You gotta fight it. That's when that bill's coming at you. Like, you know what? I'm gonna figure out a way to pay this bill. Or you can run away. Boop! I don't care if you turn off my darkness, I don't care if you turn off the lights. I can live, I can survive. I'll get you that money soon. Same thing with the guy to your gun. Here's all the money, man. You flee away. Or you can be the brave one, you can try to fight. If you know how to do that. Me personally, I'd be like, here man, take my money. It's $10, whatever. Go ahead. Or just be like, if I had some great self-defense skills, I'd be like, take that gun and be like, ha! Go run away, fine. But I went out of that place, I didn't go, oh God, I'm gonna cry. I don't know what to do. Somebody call the cops. No, there's nobody there, there's nobody gonna help you. It's up to you to figure it out. If you can't figure it out, something's wrong. Now, bam, on the contrary side, you got the parasympathetic. Simply, that's all of this in the opposite, all right? Heart rate slows down, blood pressure lowers, all right? That's another thing too. One of the things with high blood pressure. High blood pressure is highly related to having a high amount of stress. Even if you think you're healthy and everything, you can be very, very fit, have a healthy weight, exercise and everything, but if you can't control what's going up in that noggin, forget about it. That's why stress is a highly overlooked thing when it comes to exercise and actually being healthy, physical, and fit, all right? Heart rate lowers, blood pressure lowers, our body will then will regulate digestion, and our body will actually digest nutrients. While over here, you can't digest nutrients. I don't know if you think about this, but like when you're in a non-stress state, you're just chilling, relaxed, you can eat, you can breathe, everything's going good, right? You're gonna feel better, your heart rate's a little bit more relaxed, your body will then be burning some fat, everything knows it's good, You don't really need this extra fat that's on your body. Let's go ahead and take off that. Let's take care of it. And not only that, but when your heart is beating at a lower heart rate, the the mechanism it uses for your body's energy is actually fat cells themselves. The higher your heart rate is, the more glucose, which is carbohydrates, your body's going to use, because it's much more of a fast-acting chain, which can be metabolized a lot faster than fat chains can be. So when your heart rate is lower, you're going to be actually burning more fat. So when it comes down to healthiness and actually looks, being in a less stressed out state is much more beneficial for your body. But not only that, there's a hormone that a lot of people have heard before. Hormones. Cortisol. Alright. Cortisol. It's a hormone, again, released by the adrenal gland, which releases norepinephrine. Alright? It is the combating hormone which can be released when you have too much stress. Well, what that will do is, that will hold on to fat. It'll grab the fat. And you know where it puts it? Right around your digestive organs. All of these vital organs. We can't live without a liver. We can't live without 2 kidneys. We can't live without our digestive tract. We can't really live without our stomach. So you know what it'll do? It'll place fat, which is also a protective mechanism around all that area. You know what that does? Gives you a fat stomach. And there's a lot of people out there that are like, you know what, like, I'm lean everywhere else. I got, you know, you can see my arms, you can see everything else, but like, I just got a lot of fat around my stomach. I asked them, how are your stress levels? High. Okay, what that means is that their body's pumping out a lot more cortisol than it should be. And because of that, they're storing a lot more body fat around this specific general region. And it has to do so with adrenal fatigue, because their adrenal glands have pumped up way too much norepinephrine, way too much adrenaline. And because of that, they're releasing more cortisol. Because again, these two systems work well with one another, all right? And when you're too stressed out, your entire hormonal system changes, all right? And as guys, as gentlemen, all right, we have a very, very awesome hormone. It's called testosterone, all right? The reason why it's called that is because it's released by things that we have that females don't really have. Testes, testosterone and testes, all right? Makes sense, right? Comes from the same exact area. That's what produces it, okay? Now, when you're stressed and everything, and this is also called the breed and feed state. Well, this is the fight or flight. Breed and feed. What do you need to breed? You need testosterone, all right? Guys, if you're stressed out, you're not going to be pumping testosterone. The hormone that makes us as a man is not going to be an abundant source to you. As men, we want to have as much testosterone as possible, and we hit our peaks around the ages of 18 to 30. All right, so this is that major, awesome point in time in life. And not only that, but at 30, if you keep yourself healthy, it'll stay there. If you don't keep yourself healthy, it's just going to decline. And you know what? When that declines, it's really tough for your hormone system to start pumping up more and more and more. So the whole thing is you want to stay healthy, especially when you're younger, so that way you can keep your hormonal system high and steady for your entire life. You could be like a horse until you're 80 years old. Just keep on going, keep on trucking. All right? So the next thing I want to talk about with stress, that's very, very important. So does anybody have any questions at all about the hormone systems of nervous and the nervous system, the hormonal system, or how stress is highly affected to our workouts and to our lifestyle? Yes, please.
How would you recommend women to control their stress?
There's one simple thing, one really great thing to do with your stress. It's all related to the autonomic nervous system. There's one thing that we all do that we can control. It's all voluntary, but we control it it's involuntary, but we can make it voluntary. Breathing. Again, when we're in this state, what changes? Our respiration changes. We use different muscles to breathe. Instead of using more of our deep abdominal muscles, we use our diaphragm to expand our chest. All right? One other great way to do that is if you can voluntarily change your respiratory system, that will change your sympathetic nervous state